Welcome to the rugged forests of Eastern Europe, where we join the Photo Safari Club on an extraordinary expedition through the Balkan Mountains to the Danube Plain of Bulgaria. The proud Balkan Mountains. Close by is the sparkling Danube River. The sun shines over Thrace and blazes over Pirin. Dear motherland, you are heaven on earth. These are the words used by an ancient people to describe their country, a wildlife heaven, a country of endless flourishing plains, crossed by thick green forests, magnificently beautiful mountains, crystal clear lakes and rivers. Hundreds of bird and animal species have found their home and shelter here. A wild island right in the heart of Europe, where the ancient roads that connect Eurasia and Africa intersect. A starting point, not only for the people that have conquered this continent, but also to many bird and animal species that migrate north and south, guided by millennial-old instincts for rut and nesting locations. An arena for fierce fights between gladiators. A place where civilization has held back from destroying nature. We're in the eastern part of the European continent. This is the place where a small country has preserved its wildlife intact for hundreds of years. Bulgaria is one of the oldest countries in Europe and the only one that has maintained its name unchanged for the last 13 centuries. The majority of flora and fauna are preserved here, and they remain unspoiled by human expansion throughout the continent. Although only 5% of the country's territory is covered by natural parks and reserves, its people take care to preserve the wild flora and fauna. The territory of Bulgaria decreased over the years and no longer stretches to the three seas, but it still keeps the treasures of the first civilizations that developed on this continent. In addition to these and the millennial culture, it has preserved one invaluable treasure: Bulgaria's wildlife. There are numerous animal and plant species near the shores of the Black Sea and the Danube River. Bulgaria is one of the countries with some of the greatest biodiversity in Europe, as its territory covers three biogeographic regions: Alpine, Black Seaside and Continental. Geology and the specific microclimate of the country are the main reasons behind the species, natural habitats and ecosystems diversity. There are over 100 listed animal species, some of which became extinct a long time ago in other parts of the European continent. Although many animal species were preserved after the appearance of humans, there are many that were not as successful in the struggle for their place beneath the sun in this Balkan paradise. Here, where the mountain called Balkan by the Bulgarians meets the Black Sea, you'll find the almost extinct Mediterranean monk seal. This large mammal has chosen this corner of the seaside because of the presence of abundant and easily accessible food. The seal feeds on crustaceans and algae, but mostly on fish. Here, in the submerged caves, food is plentiful. Yet, this abundance is the reason behind its threatened extinction. The fishermen used to kill the seals in order to protect their nets and catch from the greedy predator. In the Black Sea, as well as the monk seal, there are only 3 other mammal species, of which there are the dolphins. There are thousands of other animal species that have come via the Sea of Marmara, but most are transient. Here, there are no living creatures at a depth of more than 150 meters. According to some scientists, the reason is hydrogen sulfide, deposited onto the bottom by the disintegration of organic matter. According to one scientific theory, the area which is now the Black Sea was a fruitful land full of life and plants. But thousands of years ago, following a cataclysmic natural event, this land was swallowed by a flood from the neighboring Mediterranean Sea. Some scientists even suspect that this flood, described in the Bible, occurred right here. Thick jungles, gigantic animals and plants were left on the bottom of what is now the Black Sea. And, thanks to decomposition, they contributed to the unique chemical compound of the seawater. The roots of two migratory birds, searching for a place to nest, pass above the Black Sea. During the cold months, the soil in most freshwater lakes and rivers freeze. This makes the food search significantly more difficult. Along their migration pathway, many ducks, geese and swans stop to take some rest at any convenient occasion. In addition to having a break from the long flight, they're able to regain their strength after making a meal from the algae in the lake. They're in luck because some of the surface of the water isn't frozen. Winter in Bulgaria lasts around 4 months, during which snowfall could last from 1 hour to a week or 10 days. If the snowfall continues for a period longer than several days, the snow cover at some places could last up to 2 or 3 months. Especially up in the mountains, where the falling snow is accompanied by a strong wind, land could be covered in snow up to 3 meters deep. When that happens, deer cannot get access to the grasses and mosses buried deep in the snow, and the animals can get physically weak and starve. The efforts made by them to move in the deep snow drain their last remaining stores of energy. They walk in a column one by one, and frequently the leader, who helps the others advance, is replaced by the one who follows. Thus deer save their energy and could escape the attacking wolves. Despite the support amongst the deer, the shortage of food is fatal to the very weakest, and they lag behind the herd. There, in the silence of the forest, the hungry wolves lie in wait. Humility and calmness. This is what every living being feels while facing the natural force which has transformed the mountainous slopes. The white cover has veiled everything, from the large pines and the high rocky peaks of the Balkan Mountains to the clear, rapidly running rivers that merge into the crystal clear lakes. Everything seems frozen and calm, but only on the surface. Hinds and does are in the open air to meet the scarce sun rays and to get warm after the long cold night. Predators are interested in something else. They need to keep their bodies fit so that they can hunt. The only way to do that is to regularly eat meat. That lynx has set its eyes on a suitable prey. The unusual terrain along which the female moves makes it extremely vulnerable. The hooves of that female fallow deer are not suitable for ice, and they keep sliding, making her lose her balance. In addition, an injury caused by falling would mean a death sentence. The female cannot run away if a predator starts chasing her over the ice. They have claws that help them move smoothly along the slippery terrain. The lynx also has long and strong claws. No, he's not after the young deer. He's obviously set his eyes on the white birds near the semi-frozen lake. The small flock runs to save its life, but one bird remains caught by the lynx's claws. The predator cat knows how to use the seasonal changes to its benefit. The large white birds rarely get on its menu. Actually, this is possible only during the winter, when the cat could make it to the flocks of birds taking off from the ice. The lynx knows how to swim well, and its thick fur protects it against the low temperatures. But that cat doesn't love water. Nevertheless, every piece of meat during the winter is worth all the effort and misfortune. Meat is essential for ravens too. Predators like lynxes, wolves and jackals are constantly monitored by the offal-eating birds. If a raven notices a predator having a bite, it signals to its brothers of the available food. The announcement of the good news from the offal-eating birds signals to all other animals in the forest that the gravedigger birds have found something. The raven's cries give out the exact location. The lynx could not enjoy its catch because it knows its territory is being stalked by hungry wolves. More than once, the predator cat has lost its hard-earned catch because of the attacks from wolf packs. This time, the wolf is attracted by the group of animals sunk deeply into the snow piles. The lynx can calmly eat its catch. There's no animal that doesn't tremble at the howling chorus from a wolf pack. Any animal roaming in the forest by itself becomes an easy catch for the wolves. Even European bison are only safe if they are inside the herd. A rapid escape is the best defense against the grey predator. If it lags behind the herd, this young mouflon is doomed. The young calf is not sufficient for the wolves who are crazed with hunger, and a battle for further prey is inevitable. The passing bison can hear the excited howls of the wolves. If they catch the smell of the herd, these grey predators won't pass up the chance of a bigger catch. This group of European bison number only 4 animals, and one of which is very young. The wolves, however, are smart, and they know that only 2 of them don't stand a chance against the adult bison. But if they manage to recruit others to their pack and give chase, they have a chance of separating the young animal from the group. The second wolf keeps track of the herd of bison, while the other plays courier and heads off to summon the pack. Waking from their daily nap, the wolves get to their feet. They're all waiting for the signal from the alpha male to start the hunt. Every creature inside the forest knows what this howling means. The distant howling from the scout makes for a terrifying serenade. The leader already knows the direction. The pack starts the hunt and closely follow the alpha male running at the front. Guided by the scout's howling and following the instinct of their leader, the pack soon come across the small herd of bison. But rather than beat a retreat, the family has decided to fight the predators. Experiencing this unexpected opposition, the wolves become hesitant. The pack's plan to separate the young animal from the rest has failed. There is nothing left for the wolves to do but scatter back to the woods, tails between their legs. After this unsuccessful chase, one wolf discovers an intriguing clue. The crows are unusually active in this part of the forest, where the large spotted cat frequently hunts. The lynx has already eaten some of its prey and is worried because of the unwanted raven's presence. So, it tries to hide the remaining parts of the large bird. The lynx is no weaker than the wolf, but if the pack appears, it would be helpless. That is why, True to its instincts, it tries covering up the smell of the remnants of its prey under the crispy snow. It could easily get buried under a sufficiently thick snow pile. After it's done with digging, the cat sniffs around to make sure it has hid its traces well. The raven makes one last inspection in its search for the residues of the lynx's lunch. Since it can't find anything, it leaves with a piercing cry. The predator cat is happy with the result and moves away from where it hid its catch. It needs some time so that the feathers it has eaten can digest in its stomach. Then it can go back and finish off its lunch. The lynx is trying not to attract attention to its hiding place, so it moves away to the interior of the forest. The tactic of hiding food stocks, especially during the winter months, has been adopted by numerous animals and birds. Here, in the forest outskirts, the spotted nutcracker, or the nutcracker, has taken out its stalks from beneath the snow in order to carry them to a safer place. The weather is calm. The sun is already rising high in the sky. And only a few hours have lapsed. The lynx heads back in order to check its hiding place. Its stomach has almost digested the first part of the meal, and now it's back to check on the rest. Will it find its hidden feast? The residues of the large birds are essential for it to survive. The meat is here. The lynx digs out its catch once again and heads off. That food will keep it alive if it doesn't catch anything else in the next few days. It's bathing time. The long moustaches at the end of its muzzle play an essential role for the lynx's senses. That is why the large cat cleans them in a lengthy and careful manner. The predator's fur gets thick and dense during the winter. That helps it survive even at extreme temperatures up in the mountain, at more than 2,000 meters above the sea level. Despite its thick coat, the cat prefers the lowlands and Balkan during the winter in order to avoid competition from the wolves. They are the lynx's only enemy. One of the advantages of snow is that you can use it instead of water, and you can clean the fur sticking to your tongue. The starving fox is marching around its territory. A few kilometers away in the forest, a heathercock has found a suitable female to woo. The sound of the love song is well known to the lynx. It is its favorite song because it has been performed by the tastiest bird in the forest. The wolf, also hanging around, remains dispassionate. That game is beyond its hunting capabilities. After working out where the bird song is coming from, the cat is ready to stalk the heathercock. The male is completely deaf as it performs its love song. The lynx takes advantage of this to approach the large bird. Even though its soft paws and the snow are perfect for a completely noiseless approach, the predator has a special tactic developed by generations of its species while hunting heathercocks. Its masterful sneaking is too slow, however, because a fox attracted by the heathercock's song outstrips the lynx. The fox scares the heathercocks away, and the predator cat can only follow the birds flying away amongst the trees. Soon, the male starts its love call again, while perched on a tree. And of course, the predator cats are excellent climbers. While the lynx advances towards the tree and the heathercock, the wild cat finds something else that's interesting: fresh fox trace. This is another enemy the lynxes hate. They hate it even more than the wolf. The lynx follows the trace. Eliminating the fox is much more important than hunting the heathercock. While busily hunting a wild mouse beneath the snow, the fox doesn't pay attention to anything around it. It knows its greatest challenge is chasing it. In just a few seconds, the lynx takes down the fox on the spot. Its breathless corpse remains in the snow, but not for long. The golden eagle descends from the angry skies onto the fox corpse. It is the Lord of the Skies that has been respected since antiquity as a reincarnation of an almighty god. In Bulgaria, these eagles are the largest among the group of predator birds. The fox will only suffice for breakfast. Survival during the winter is hard without family support. Family care is a way to survive the winter for almost all animals. On the mountain ridge, the eagle is waiting for its partner. The two of them will share the lynx's victim. In this case, the species survival prevails over personal needs. There is not much meat in the fox for the eagles to share. The water that was freezing during the day will very soon turn into ice after the sun sets. The wolves sense the approach of the evening and become more active. Their time is coming. A hind, frightened to death by the wolves' movement, detaches from the herd while trying to run along the hill. This is her last winter. Wolves are fast to chase her down. Ravens are among the first spectators to the sad view. They know that part of the female will remain uneaten. Wolves usually head for the soft tissues, and if the pack is not large, the ravens will enjoy a great feast. This wolf eats as much as it can before the rest of the pack arrives. One thing is to get the catch, hunted down, or found. But most importantly, you should be capable of protecting it against the other predators around. The eagle is the strongest bird in the skies, but once it lands, it is as vulnerable as the victim clenched in its claws. In these mountains, there is no animal that is strong and evil enough to resist a pack of wolves. They come and take whatever they want. After they have torn the fox apart in seconds, they will join the lonely wolf at the foot of the slope. It seems that nothing will be left to the ravens. It starts snowing once again, and a new, harsh evening falls on the wild inhabitants of the mountain. Day after day, night after night. Some of them will survive on the account of the others, but this is the natural circle of life. Winter. Cold, white, merciless, but beautiful and enchanting at the same time. This is one of the most magnificent seasonal gowns worn in wild Bulgaria. Its beauty is second only to that of autumn, but its might is absolute. Winter controls life and death for wildlife, and only occasionally shows mercy. Therefore, every wild creature impatiently awaits the season's change. After around 2 months of thick snowpack up in the mountains and numerous blizzard storms, the weather finally begins to change. Following unwritten natural laws, the winter's end finally approaches. We can see it as the snow starts to thin. The inhabitants of the mountain slowly and steadily regain their energy. Until recently, everything has been a prisoner of the cold and snow. The sun chases away the last snow piles hidden underneath the forest shadows. The changes are significant. The mountainous slopes, covered by a white pack, start unveiling their natural appearance. Rocks, grass, and shrubs appear amidst the melting snow piles. The most undeniable sign that winter is fading is a mother bear that has woken up from her long hibernation with her 3 restless bear cubs. This is their first spring, and they're impatient and curious to study their surrounding environment. They'll see the red deer and hear a cuckoo for the first time. They'll taste the honey gathered by the bees. An amazing cohabitation with the inhabitants of Wild Bulgaria awaits them. Even though it has lost the battle with spring, winter always hangs on to a few last tricks, like this unexpected snowfall. These hinds are perplexed by the whining cry of a small fawn, so they leave behind the maize scattered on the ground while they investigate. However, this is a deception. The mocking jay is full of such tricks. It can imitate almost each and every animal or bird in the forest. This time, it needs something that will chase away any intruders looking to stake claim to the grain scattered on the ground. A good imitation of a small, loud eagle is suitable in this case. The pigeons, scared, fly away. With its virtuoso imitation of a tit, the jay is trying to chase the others away from the grain. Imitating a crow also works well for the mocking jay. Only a crow could scare the big white-headed vulture. This carrion-eating bird still hasn't recovered from its torn tail feathers following its last clash with the crows. The jay's imitation is so good that it attracts the real owner of the battle cry. For a while, the jay has the grain all for itself. Soon, however, some uninvited guests return. The great imitator decides to use its super weapon once again, the eagle's cry. This time, it has a greater effect than expected. A flock of storks that arrived earlier is resting by the brook. The winter has surprised them with its last attempt to hold sway over nature. Yet its season has come to an end, and this late, wet snow will melt away in only a matter of hours. By combing their feathers, the birds help themselves to dry out faster. Although it seems that not everything that glitters is gold. The good food is hidden beneath a thick layer of snow. But the storks don't have the hooves to dig it out. That's why they're waiting for the deer to do the dirty work for them. However, the roe deer don't like the large birds. They can be peaceful, but also carnivorous. During the winter months, when the snow covers the land and plants with its white blanket, food is inaccessible to animals. This is not the case for the wild boars. These massive animals are equipped with an elongated nose and covered by exceptionally strong and hard skin. Thanks to that organ, wild boars can dig into the frozen snow and make it to the riches hidden below. Roots, fresh twigs, or remnants of the autumn acorns. The hard and thick bristles protect the boars not only against parasites, but also against the sharp thorns of the bushes in which they like to rest. Their fur even protects their eyes. The hard and short fur is lined by thick skin and cartilage formations that make the adult animal invincible against a wolf or a bear. In addition to that unbreakable defense, the wild boars have very sharp teeth. They are self-sharpening against the opposing incisors and are always capable of inflicting lethal injuries to their opponent. That is why wild boars have something that resembles a shield on their chest. The thickened skin can sustain hits made by their opponents during their mating battles. The female boars have found fresh birch sprouts beneath the snow and are having a feast. In the forest, as well as those armed with strong hooves and robust muzzles, there are also many animals that rely on each other's assistance to survive through the winter. It's now the hardest part of the year, because by the end of winter, all the animals are exhausted from long periods of starvation, and the last late snow has hidden the fresh grass. Wolves would not dare to approach people, which is why these animals feel secure and safe from the grey predators. A newborn that came into this world only a couple of hours ago is walking with its umbilical cord still attached. Its birth date has coincided with the unexpected snowfall. Most newborns do not get to see snow until they turn half a year. Nevertheless, this tiny fawn will have to live through many difficult moments from as soon as it was born. If it wasn't for the forestry workers, these animals would not have made it through the winter. But these tiny fellas are the lucky ones, and they can be sure that their mother's milk counter will continue to stay open. This baby is curious to know why some adults have antlers and others don't. Very soon, all the red deer will have to say goodbye to their antlers. According to nature's unwritten laws, the youngest have to first lose their weapons of war, and then the oldest will say farewell to their crowns. Uninvited, but always hungry, the wild boar is the last to arrive at the feast. However, the shy roe deer observes the feast from afar. He's too jumpy to share the table with the other wild inhabitants. The red deer has just lost his antlers, and in place will grow new and mossy ones. The roe deer's antlers have fallen a long time ago. They've shaped up into new battle weapons. Now, it's time to peel them off after taking away the soft skin that has been protecting and feeding them while they were growing. Soon, the forestry workers leave the region, and the wild inhabitants are left to their wild fortune. The wolves sense that the two-legged predators are gone, and they are once again at the top of the food chain. The mouflons have to run to save their lives, but one of the newborns has been misled by a false motherly calling. It could get lost. This is what the jay relies on in order to try and move in on the remnants of the grey wolf's dinner. But the jay's plan is ruined. It stops snowing, and the sun makes its way through the clouds. The white cover starts melting, and the large animals become more active in the forest. For the wolves, winter is over. They wouldn't risk meeting the large stags without the advantage that the snow cover provides. The deer gradually get back to their spring habitats while looking forward to the first blades of fresh grass. The pushiest of youths are already eager to renew their battles for the female's attention, something they forgot during the great cold spell. All the animals in the forest enjoy the warm weather and the opportunity to eat. Wolves are the only ones that aren't bothered about basking under the spring sun. and see the winter off reluctantly. They and the vultures are among the few species of Bulgarian wildlife that ate more than they needed in the recent cold months. Their victims were either ill or exhausted animals that after the extreme cold along with malnutrition became easy prey for the strong predators. The eagles, along with vultures, also got their share of winter's victims. Numerous pieces of evidence spring up beneath the melting snow, bringing to light the lethal nature of the wolves' winter. The remains were preserved by the snow, and now the vultures can focus their full attention on their once-buried feast. There are 4 types of vulture in Bulgaria. Lands rich in game, especially in the southern parts of the country, are the perfect place for them to thrive. They nest in locations inaccessible to other predators. While flying at great altitudes, these birds survey vast territories searching for a dead or dying animal. After finding one, the vultures are capable of separating all the meat and tendons from the bones in not more than 10 minutes. Their high numbers create a stage for fierce competition. Thanks to their powerful beaks and huge wings that sometimes stretch to 2 meters, they make a formidable opponent. Bears are also keen not to leave the abandoned meat untouched. Their need to restore the lost weight from the winter requires the intake of additional calories. A hungry bear could even attack a pack of wolves to steal away their food. Brown bears are exceptionally peaceful, but when hungry, even the wolves will leave them to their prey. No matter how furious and hungry, she leaves the pack members afterwards. For sense of smell, sight, and hearing, the wolves are unmatched. But even they can't beat the senses of a night predator that rules the sky after the sun sets. This is the Eurasian eagle owl. Just like the wolves, it prefers inhabiting the most isolated of forest locations. If it has offspring, there aren't usually more than 5 small eagle owl chicks. These need to be regularly fed, otherwise the bigger ones will tear them apart and eat up the smaller ones inside the nest. Therefore, the parents hunt almost constantly, well into nighttime. The game they prefer is small rodents, but they also like adult foxes and rabbits. This skinny fox has not eaten for a long time. It was a hard winter for the fox, and it's intrigued by the traces from a rabbit. To that eagle owl, a rabbit is a much better prey, because it is fleshier than an underfed fox. Unfortunately, the rabbit senses the fox's presence and runs away. The eagle owl's claws remain empty. Its chicks are impatient and hungry. The game that surrounds them is insufficient at the moment, and the eagle owl's hunting is unsuccessful. That is the reason for having a single eagle owl chick inside the nest. The biggest, the strongest, and the most merciless. The law of the wild continues. After the long winter, the European bison need to restore their lost weight in order to prepare for the summer mating season. Then the males will commence their brutal battles to appoint their leaders who will ultimately sire the new offspring. The bison herds became extinct here a long time ago due to human expansion. By the end of the 11th century, the bison population in Europe was totally destroyed. Its reintroduction in Bulgaria was initiated 60 years ago. At present, in various locations, small bison herds keep fighting for the survival of their species. The Bulgarian people take great care to limit the destructive impact civilization has on the bison population. Their territories are protected by special statute. Their survival in the wild depends on their own skills too. The deer's strength is also running out after long winter months of malnutrition. Females need strength to give birth to healthy offspring, and the males need energy to decorate their heads with new antlers. Cleaning parasites from fur is a delicate task that animals cannot do by themselves. They need one another for mutual support. After more than a month where winter and spring have fought for dominance, warm weather prevails and the last residues of cold and snow disappear. The plants and animals prepare for the most important time of year, the time of new beginnings, of new life and new future generations. Nature undergoes a full renovation. The appearance of many of the wild inhabitants also changes. The bison literally take off their heavy winter fur and replace it with a lighter one. These seasonal changes are all related to the life cycle. And ahead of the appearance of a new generation, birds need to prepare their nests. Every species has a different approach to construction. As well as preferences for the most suitable location, some choose high and thick tree crowns or the security of human homes. Under a house roof, at the highest rocky peaks, or on an electric post. All nests share certain features. They are defined by their constructors using the most suitable materials and taking the time to make them strong enough in order to raise their offspring inside. These swallows have chosen to build their nest at a location completely inaccessible to large birds, predator cats or snakes. Quite a hard task, bearing in mind the smooth walls onto which the birds have to fix their home. These swallows have made an intelligent choice of construction material with which to build their nests. It's easy to process, available in unlimited quantities along the rivers and streams, and, most importantly, it's easy to carry. Using their beaks, they dig, shape and fetch small mud balls with which they build their hemispherical clay nests. After the nest dries out, it becomes extremely robust and can survive the strong wind. Yet that strength cannot protect the small chicks from falling. Leaving the nest means only one thing: the chicks can fly. Otherwise, the chick is doomed and destined to be eaten by a cat or snake. Which is why these predators can often be seen around buildings with swallow nests. The jay, just like the swallow, goes to great lengths to build its nest. It's a secretive bird and often chooses to build its home on top of coniferous trees. After the nest is completed, the jay hides its food stocks in various places so it can have sources with which to feed its chicks once they hatch. In order to strengthen its nest, the jay selects strong twigs which it breaks off large shrubs. With its rotating movements, it crushes them easily, then delivers them to the nest in order to securely interweave them into the construction. After preparing a resilient outer wall, the nest will be supplemented by grasses and roots dug out by the jay from the surrounding land. Once the nest is ready, the bird becomes extremely cautious and only leaves to gather food. The jay is an incredible cook. Finding and catching a slowly moving mollusk is only half the job of preparing a snail delicacy. In order to prepare this gourmet dish, the jay takes a special approach. With all the skill of a master chef, it removes the muscular body of the snail without breaking the shell. An important prerequisite for preparation is removing the snail's mucus layer. Using a rough tree bark as a scraper, the jay cleans the surface of the snail meat. Once the dish is ready, it eats it up in the company of its partner in their new home. The jay is an excellent imitator and frequently reproduces the song of other birds in order to lure them out of their nests. It loves eating the small chicks and eggs of other birds. One of the jay's few enemies and competitors is the Aesculapian snake. The high trees where the bird builds its nest are no obstacles to this reptile. Thus, in the food chain, where the jay is a consumer of others' offspring, the bird itself turns out to be the main course in the snake's menu. It in turn is a delicacy to some other birds. The short-toed eagle is specialized in hunting these reptiles down and easily finds them among grasses and stones using its sharp sight. Eagles frequently land to check some branch that might resemble a snake or a lizard. Black storks also don't miss the chance of eating up a little snake when they can. Their everyday menu includes fish, frogs, all types of small rodents and amphibians. Storks love green lizards and frogs, and every day they spend several hours searching for them, and not a single stone is left unturned. This grass snake is going out to hunt some field mice. They are its favorite food. Yet the cold-blooded hunter doesn't know it's also being hunted. Snakes are storks' delicacies. The snake catches a scent by flicking out its long forked tongue. With this sensitive organ, it can sense its victim even if it can't see it. The little mouse got lucky this time, unlike the snake. The sun is high and the heat scorching. The larger animals are looking for a cool place in the shadows. Now is the time for the insects to enjoy a breakfast provided by the flowers and trees of the forest. Together with the insects, the birds and reptiles undertake their active hunt as well. From the high mountainous pastures to the shallow waters of the Black Sea, the flora and fauna come to life in their search for food. But there's a fine line between being a hunter and the hunted. The birds have an enviable stabilizing system, which allows them to keep their wide field of vision irrespective of whether they are flying or standing on a windblown shrub. This is extremely important as it allows them to easily spot background objects. These feathered creatures' successful hunting techniques are the result of millions of years of evolution and an accumulation of piloting skills. Holding still in a single place during flight in the air is the peak of those skills. But this gift is inherent not only to birds, but to insects as well. Just like the feathered hummingbird, The hummingbird hawk moth is a virtuoso flyer. The moth uses its extending straw in order to reach flowers' sweet nectar and manages to keep balance even in strong winds. The flying creatures, be it birds or insects, are among the best plant disseminators. That is why each and every flora representative tries attracting as many fans as possible. Over 750 higher plant species are competing for the attention of 400 species of birds and thousands of insect species. Their colors, shape and size matter in this battle for attraction. Some plants specialize in the needs of certain insect species. Others rely on size, shape, color and smell to attract their Hymenoptera guests. Some flowers are the perfect destination for a honeymoon. Others resemble the insect itself, or they are protected against birds so that the insects can shelter inside them. Yet, not all insects are attracted by the plant's imitations. Some of them are lured by the mimicry of the predator insects. There are double agents amongst the bugs that instead of supporting flowers' development, they destroy them. The hairy beetle is among the worst guests that a plant could attract. It's capable of biting off most flower organs and can destroy whole trees. The seahorse, the mantis, the large grasshopper and the spiders are the predators of the lower land. Each and every one of them would not hesitate when it comes to devouring every other insect. The corpses of the grasshoppers, when turned into mummies bound with silk fibers to grasses and shrubs, show that this is the hunting territory of the spiderweb's weavers. Even the impersonation of the scorpion's fearful weapon could not save this grasshopper when meeting the cruelest predator of the lower world, the invisible mantis. It is a secretive and well-hidden killer. Thanks to its overall behavior and masking, the mantis is indistinguishable from the leaves and twigs smoothly swaying alongside. For this hunter, nature has created a highly sensitive motion sensor. Its antennae are located in such a way that, without even moving its body, it can perceive the slightest change in the wind or vibration in the air. Its hunting weapons include sharp spikes that are capable of piercing the solid armor of nearly every insect. The speed with which the mantis uses its weapons has inspired martial arts masters to create and name a battle style after it. Birds rank higher than insects in the food chain. Yet some Hymenoptera have a chemical weapon that most birds wouldn't like to be on the receiving end of. They are the most dangerous and numerous warriors amongst insects. Bees symbolize danger and pain. Yet to bee-eaters, they are the most exquisite and tasty delicacy. This beautifully colored bird catches its prey on the wing, which ranks it amongst the best pilots in the feathered world. Since bee poison does not affect them, they feed mainly on stinging insects, bees, wasps, drone bees, and occasionally on seahorses, butterflies, and beetles. But more than half of its daily menu consists of bees. These flocks of bee-eaters fly in from South Africa at the end of April in order to raise their offspring here in Bulgaria. The locations where they dig their nests into are inaccessible to predators. This migratory species prefers the climate in the northwestern part of the country. There, they make their nests inside deep holes. Every nesting couple digs out by itself a tunnel in the sandy soil along the riverbanks or along the shores of the Black Sea. The bee-eater's offspring are well protected against the attacks of small predators. The only hope left for this beech martin is to catch some inexperienced young chick during its first attempts to fly from the nest. At the end of a tunnel that can be up to 3 meters deep, there is a special chamber where the nesting couple raises its hatchlings together. Both parents actively participate in providing their food. They need tens of insects daily to get stronger and grow big enough to participate in the risky migration flight at the end of summer. Then, gathered in flocks of tens of birds, the bee-eaters fly back to Africa. Only 1 in 3 birds manages to complete this long and dangerous flight, only to return back here again next year. The vertical walls where the nest is built and the crumbly, sandy soil are an insurmountable hindrance not only to the small predators, but to snakes as well. Although there is a dangerous, fearful intruder to whom these preventative measures are no hindrance: the crab. This omnivorous arthropod is dressed in an unpierceable armor and armed with powerful claws, a terrifying weapon with which it tears apart its victims. The European bee-eaters and their chicks don't stand a chance against such a fearful killer. In Bulgaria's wild world, it's hard to survive. In most cases, one creature's death is another's luck. Sometimes destiny flips the coin, and luck backs the prey. Here, up in the mountain, the only enemy of the Balkan chamois is the brown bear and the lynx. Yet even they cannot approach the chamois running across the vertical rocky edges. Here, chamois babies are relatively protected against the predators roaming in the forest beneath them. But the real danger could descend from the clear blue skies. A piercing whistle signals imminent danger. This time, it is not one but 2 of the most feared air hunters who compete for the animals. Many young and newborn chamois are scattered along the rocks. The golden eagle, as well as the vulture, could carry away a young and unexperienced chamois. The adult animals flee the open rocky terraces and look for shelter in the caves and the thick shrubs in the foothills. The vulture flies over at too great a height and ends up with empty claws. It relies on the animals that are already dead. The eagle has another tactic. This bird of prey dives beneath the rocks where the chamois are located. With its piercing cries, it scares away the inexperienced young animals. After quickly accelerating, it catches up with the chamois running ahead. This way it can halt the chamois descent. After the dazzling dive towards the rocky cornice, the eagle drops to the ground. It seems that this time, its hunting was successful. Curious about the eagle's luck, the vulture flies over. The eagle's claws are strongly grasping its victim. Another curious observer shows its head from the rocky cornice. The male fox hopes there would be something for it too. Quite unexpectedly, the eagle flies off with empty claws, and the chamois run to the place to see who the victim is. The victim proves to be a yellowish grass tuff. The eagle was misled. The silhouette and the color of the piece of land overgrown with grass is just like a goat lying on the rocks. It's a happy day for the herd. No chamois fell victim to the birds of prey. The rocky inhabitants once again proved to be a better player in this game of cat and mouse. They are the protectors of the high rocky peaks of Wild Bulgaria's mountains.